welcome to Jeremy's Garage. Today we're going to be talking about everything that you need to cam swap your LS1 or LS2 or non-DOD LS engine 5.3, 4.8, 6.0, any of those. So you get on Facebook, you get on the forums, you're not, you don't know everything about engines. You didn't come out of your mother's womb knowing everything. You're not a LS engine mechanic that everyone on Facebook thinks that you need to be. Well, that's okay, because I'm here to make it a little more simple for you, because I had to go through these things myself. Anytime you ask a question on any of the LS Facebook pages, you get a ton of ego from guys who, quite frankly, think you're just an idiot and don't know what you're doing. But that's okay, because everybody has to start somewhere. So today I'm going to make this a little easier for you. Once you figure out your cam of choice, whether it be Texas Speed, BTR, whatever size you want to go with, if you don't know the size cam you want to go with, I suggest calling that company that you choose and get with them and tell them exactly what your plans are for the car. Tell them everything you want it to be, and they can really set you up with a good cam. Don't go by the stages of a cam just because you want the most chop, or you want to put a stage 4 in it because it's the biggest one they got. Well, you're probably going to end up with a car that's not very streetable and really doesn't have a lot of power down low. So just figure out what your goals are for your car, give them a call, and get a cam that really suits exactly what you need. So when you get that cam that you need, the main things that you're going to need, and people are going to argue that this one's optional, but you're in there, spend the money and get it done. Get a new set of lifters. New set of lifters and trays. Everyone says to get the original equipment trays. I guess the lifters can spin in the aftermarket. I'm not sure. This is a debate that I'm not going to get into because people will argue to the tooth on this, but you can get Morrill lifters, you can get Johnson lifters, or you get the LS7 Delphi lifters. Personally, I got the LS6 Acceleration, LS7 style lifters, and there's a lot of people that have good reviews on them too. So just do your research on what lifter you want. To be honest with you, you're going to see failure in any part that you look up. So just do your research on that. Valve springs. Depending on the cam you get, you're most likely going to have new valve springs. For instance, I run a BTR Stage 2 cam, so I'll run the 660 lift double valve springs from BTR. That is not those. Those are the stocks. Unless you're running real big power, I don't think you don't really need the titanium keepers and retainers. You can run the steel, save you a little money. Those work just fine. Push rods, you're going to need new push rods. I know if you don't know if your car is stock or ever been into, the best thing you can do is get a push rod length checker and just make sure you get the right size push rod you need before ordering them. Mine was 7.425 on my LS1, but it had never had any work done to it prior, so that worked out good. Head gaskets, you're going to have head gaskets. I would either go with the AC Delco, or I've heard decent things about BTR head gaskets. You definitely want the multi-layer steel. Another optional one, but I think it's probably a good one to do, is a trunnion upgrade. You don't have to do this, but the factory rockers have almost like needle bearings in them, and when you're spinning these things up, 6,500 RPM, one can get out and metal can go all in your engine. So if you're doing a performance vehicle, you're doing a cam swap, you're probably going to be spinning that engine up. Go ahead and get you a set of trunnion upgrades. If you don't have the money and you need to put it, somewhere else, then I guess. But that's one thing I would definitely get, along with new lifters. Do not reuse your old lifters. You're going to have gaskets. You're going to have water pump gaskets, your timing cover gaskets. You're going to have I recommend just going ahead and getting your front seal gasket where your harmonic balancer goes on, because you're definitely going to want that, and that'll get you all put back together on that. You're going to have Permatex for the bottom of your timing cover pan, so save you a trip to the parts store. Cam retainer plate is a big one, and I feel like it's not touched base on a lot on Facebook. People kind of say whatever, but change your cam retainer plate in boats. You don't want to put this car all together and end up not having oil pressure, and then you're scrambling trying to figure out what's wrong with the thing, and it's your old cam retainer plate leaking the whole time. So it's not worth the headache of, just not spending the $20 and doing it. Just spend the $20 and do it, and have that peace of mind knowing it's sealed, good to go. While you're in there, go ahead and replace your timing set while you're in there. That's easy to do. Go ahead and get you some new cam boats from ARP. You can reuse the old ones. Just make sure you torque them right and put red Loctite on them if you do that. Head boats. You're going to have cylinder head boats because you just don't want to put those factory torque to yields back in there. So you can go back with the factory style torque to yield boat. You can get the Fel-Pro, but that is going to require you to be able to know how and use this tool effectively, because they do not run off of a torque spec like ARP boats. You can get ARP boats and then just have a torque spec, and if you can use a torque wrench, it's going to be a little bit easier for you than trying to figure this guy out here. But if you do get the Fel-Pro, the factory style torque to yield boats, which do work fine, you will have to use this. So if you plan on doing that, saving a little money and getting the torque to yield, maybe do you a YouTube video on how this thing works before you make your decision. Let's see here before I get too far. Okay, I think we talked about oil pump. The oil pump, the Mellington 295 is a great replacement pump. While you're in there, replace your oil pump. Just do it. Also, when you do replace your oil pump, look into shimming your oil pump. You can get a 2000th shim and shim your oil pump. That way you know for a fact you're not going to have any issues when you start that vehicle for the first time. Everything's going to be lined out correctly and ready to go for you. You're going to be into a lot of metal parts. I suggest you get you a bottle of Permatex engine assembly lube. You're definitely going to need oil, so save you a part strip, get you some oil. When you're taking off your intake, you're going to be removing your fuel lines, so pick you up a fuel line disconnect tool, the timing cover tool. This tool right here will slide on to your crank snout and make it easy and spot on for you to get your timing cover on where that thing won't leak. So I suggest getting one of these on Amazon. They're like 20 bucks. This is to reinstall your harmonic balancer. This will make it easy. It's like 12 bucks. It's cheap and easy to get. On your harmonic balancer, I got away with using a 3-jaw puller, but that's not the case for everybody. I suggest looking up the LS harmonic balancer removal tool. That'll help you out a lot. Make sure you have PB Blaster and spray like up to a week in advance every other day until you're ready to do your project. That'll make things go a lot smoother, especially when it comes to removing those exhaust manifold bolts. Another thing I want to elaborate on. One thing that people may not know. When you take your heads off of your car and you get everything cleaned up, you need to clean where the boat goes down into the block. So you could take one of your stock boats, grind you a hash mark all through there, and you can run that boat down in there to chase those threads and bring it back up. And all that gunk and nasty stuff will get in that, and you can clean it out, run it down, run it up until no more gunk comes out. So that'll help you out a lot too. So yeah, basically, I know I got ahead of myself there. The main things you're going to need for your cam swap is your cam, your valve springs, your lifters, your trays, oil pump, water pump gasket, timing cover gasket, your front seal gasket for your timing cover where your harmonic balancer goes on. You're going to have your head gaskets, head bolts. Another good thing for you to change while you're in there, because it's behind your intake, is your oil pressure sensor. Go ahead and change that. Make your life easy. Get the AC Delco one or the GM OEM one. Another thing is, if you don't know much about LSs, do not get tied up into getting aftermarket coils. Use your stock coils. They work the best. They work up to like 1,000 horsepower, and the failure rate on these is a lot less than what you get on an aftermarket set. Another little tip here is whenever you change your oil pump and your O-ring in your pickup tube, which is very important, you can get this little piece right here. And what it does is, instead of having one bolt to hold your pickup tube up, it'll add a secondary. So it'll keep this O-ring sealed where you won't lose any oil pressure. So that's a great thing to have, and it's only like 20 bucks as well. So you can look up O-ring pickup tube LS, parts, and then you can find this little add-on piece. Now, I'm sure I have missed a couple things because that's just me, but rest assured for you, I am going to include a full list of everything that is required for your cam swap on your LS, so you're not having to do no thinking. And at the end of this video, I'll post it and you can screenshot it. That way you have a picture of this list and you can go back to it and check off what you have, what you don't have, and what you need. I'll put the optionals on there. I'll put, some other tips in there to keep you from having to run to the parts store 100 times. Just trying to really make it simple for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you. Also, for some of the specialty tools, I will put links in the description to make it even easier for you to help you get the things that you're going to need to complete your project.